Alrighty, we're going to talk about some GFI protection here. Here in the country I was born in, GFI protection is required in bathrooms, outdoors, around swimming pools, and within 6 feet of the sink in the kitchen. And I'll show you how to wire them and install them. The black wire is live, the white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground, and red and blue are also live colors. In this case, that is the situation. Black live, white neutral, and the bare is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors in case you're working in a building where there's MC cable or conduit. So I'll show you how to wire them and install them. We use 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps and 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. And in a kitchen, 12 is required for the kitchen, and that would be on a 20 amp circuit breaker. So on the back, you'll see a line here on the bottom, load on the top, hot, hot, which is your black, white, white, which is your neutral. Okay, so we will check our wire nuts here. We'll see how they did hooking these up. They look okay. So make sure it's nice and tight. And all our insulation is down in the bottom there. I'll keep our ground back here. Okay, so I will fold this a little bit better so it goes into the box easier. I'll go down like this, go up like this. And push it into the back of the box. There we go, there's our white. Look in our wire nut with the black. That looks pretty good. It's not perfectly even, but it's enough. It's even enough so that all the insulation is getting underneath this portion of the wire nut here, and all the copper is cut so it's even going in here. So let's make sure it's tight. I'll fold this back into our box. Push it back so it's all out of our way here. So we'll take our device, we'll close the screws that we're not going to be using, which is the load, and we'll put our ground wire on this green screw here. I'll clip this a little shorter. And you always got to get your wire in around the screw the direction that the screw turns, because otherwise when you tighten the screw, okay, there it is. I'll get my needle nose in here and I'll close this loop the direction that our screw is turning there. There we go, that's what we want right there. Make sure it's tight. Okay, now we'll put our white on the silver colored screw here. Make our loop the direction that the screw turns. Like that. Okay, that loop is a little too big, so I'm going to open that up. And I'll clip this a little shorter because it doesn't have to be that long. Close our loop the direction that the screw turns. There it goes. Make sure it's tight. It looks like that. I'll bring it down, and we'll come over here. We'll get our black wire on the brass screw. I will clip a little off of this because it's a little long. Make our loop the direction that the screw turns. Get it under there like that. Get our pliers in here. Get it around the screw the direction that our screw turns like that. Make sure it's nice and tight, and it looks like that there. Now we can bring our black and white up like this. Fold it and push it into our box, and we'll keep our ground wire down at the bottom here, and it just goes in the wall like this. I'll just look over here, make sure our ground wire is staying down away from everything. And it is. Now these are okay, so these two GFIs are on separate circuits, so that is why we have to have two of them. Okay. Oh, this splice doesn't look very good because one, that insulation is here, and this copper goes way up there, so we're going to take this apart and redo this one. You always strip with the wire size that matches the hole. In this case it's 12, American wire gauge. And this is on a 20 amp circuit. Untangle it here so it's easier to push into the box. Okay, so I will get the two insulations even at the top here. I'll start twisting these together here. See, that went off, so I'm going to go back. Pull this one up a little bit. There. Now I'll take my third one, get my insulation even at the bottom here, wrap it in there so it's even. Okay, see how I got my insulation all even across the top here? So I'm going to take my cutters and cut the copper so it's even on the end here. Okay, so all three insulations are even at the top, the copper is even on the bottom, and our insulation is going down into this top portion of the wire nut, so I'll just tighten this up. Make sure it's tight. Okay, now I can fold this into our box. I'll fold it back like this. Like this. And let's see how they did with the black wires here. Wow, look at that. That copper is way up here. And see how uneven that twist is? So you have the copper going up above the top of this wire nut. So we'll redo this one too. You want to keep that insulation even at the bottom as much as you can. That one is stripped shorter than this one. And that one was stripped way shorter. So I'll just straighten this end off a little bit here. Okay, so we'll get our insulation even at the top here. We'll twist them together so that they, see how the insulation is staying even at the top here? Then our third wire in, get our insulation even at the top here. See, that moved? I don't like that. So we go back to ground zero and start over. Okay, these two are even. Okay, we'll twist it in so it's even. Now it's twisting nice and even. I'll cut this end off. See how our insulation's even at the top and our copper is even on the bottom. I'll put my wire nut on and see how that copper just goes up into the bottom portion of this wire nut. Make sure it's nice and tight like that. Now we can fold this into our box. So we'll make sure the screws we're not using are closed, which are the load. And we'll start with putting our ground wire on the green screw. Get it nice and closed around the loop like that there. Make sure it's tight. Okay, now we'll put our white wire up here on the silver colored screw. Clip a little off because it's a little long. Make our loop the direction that our screw turns. Tighten it up. Make sure it's tight, and that's what we want right there. And I'll turn it so that our wires aren't getting twisted around each other. Now bend our white wire so it's going up, and now I'll do our black wire. Make our loop the direction that the screw turns. Make sure it's tight and we have a nice connection. Our copper is under the screw head all the way around. Fold our wires so they go into the box. We're going to make sure this ground wire stays at the bottom here. And we can push this into our pots. Like that. Now this box is flush with the wall, so it's nice and tight. And we'll turn our circuit breakers on, and we will test it. Test, reset. That is our two separate circuits for the countertop, and these two outlets are within 6 feet of the kitchen sink, so that's why we have a GFI on them.